Boom, 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 boom. Hey everyone, it's Jay here. If I sound a little different to you, it's because this is the first time I've ever recorded an episode of the show in my car. That's right. So, basically, right now, my living situation, I don't really have a space where I can, set up to record on. I don't have a computer, in fact. My laptop, it's an IdeaPad that I got, for $300 at Best Buy in 2018, and that has carried me for, over half a decade. It is the show that I recorded all my first podcast on. It's the show I made my first YouTube videos on. I mean, the laptop I made my first stuff on. Sorry, Also, I don't have any access, because I'm just recording this off of my phone in my car, and I don't really have access to editing software. This is going to be pretty raw, so I apologize. So I'm going to get to the point here, because I wanted to do just a little announcement to remind you, hey, I'm still here, I'm still alive, the show is going to be coming back. I really was not expecting for this to take this long, and I'm sorry that, that didn't work out better. There are actually 2 episodes that I recorded with Winslow a couple months ago that are just sitting waiting to be edited, because, just the thing has been kind of on hiatus because of me not being able to get back to the point where I can work. So I'm working as hard as I possibly can on that. I really want to make the home. I feel really bad because people online are going up to me in Winslow and being where's the show? And I know they mean well. And in any other context, that would be super flattering, because the fact that people even remember the fact that I do it is usually that makes me super happy. But it's just in this specific context, because I spend all day feeling bad about the fact that I'm not I'm not in a position where I can go back to making stuff. And then I go online and it's people being why aren't you, basically being why aren't you not poor faster? It's is how that it feels to me, and it feels bad, even though I know it's not people's fault. So I apologize if I was a little short with anyone about that. But good news is, like I said, I'm not even giving estimates anymore, because everyone I've done has been wrong so far. But I genuinely think I'm at a point now where my living situation right now is basically I'm in a hostel where I'm sharing a bed. No, not sharing a bed. I have a room in a shared room, a bed in a shared room. So it's 4 beds in one room, and usually it's just me, but because it's a shared room, it's I can't set anything up. It fucking sucks. But the good news is I'm saving so much money. I'm finally gonna have money for an apartment deposit next month. I can't get started on that, because my plan is I'm doing this announcement just to let everyone know, hey, the threads, the show is still alive. I haven't gotten to do much work on it because, one of the things about Atlantic City is they don't really have a library system, so I don't have any, I have work. I'll talk about my life stuff, but basically it's just trust me that I am not resting on my laurels. If I could be working on this show, I would. It's just, I can't right now because of how my life situation is. And I appreciate how cool everyone has been, and I especially want to say thank you to the people who kept giving money to the Patreon, even though, we haven't been making anything, because, whether that was due to negligence or due to a genuine desire to support us, either way, legitimately, just being able to pull $100 from there, at one point, from my share of it, was made a huge difference, and it means so much to me, and I appreciate that. And the good news is, this time that I have been off, not off the air, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I feel really good. I've done a bunch of personal growth and made some real important breakthroughs, I feel, as well as kicking some bad habits, and just in general, I think 2024, once I get that apartment, I'm going to hit the ground running. I've already, also, a fun thing is, Fred has started wanting to make stuff with me, which is fun. Just to give you a little peek at one thing, a couple weeks ago, he was hey, I want you to record talking about something. We talked a bit about Terry Davis, the creator of Temple OS, because peak for a future episode, since Terry Davis did post on Something Awful at one point, I am going to be doing an episode of the show about Temple OS, specifically from the perspective of Something Awful, but we are going to do kind of a primer on Terry Davis, and Fred's going to be the guest on the episode, because Fred is one of the few people few living human beings who has actually programmed in Temple OS, and he has a really fascinating sort of thesis on it. His take, as someone who has worked in Temple OS, is that it is basically an art project. If you're familiar with if you're in the audience of the show, you might be familiar with the Pico 8. The Pico 8 is a fictional 8-bit console that exists as basically a software thing, where it's basically an homage to the NES and whatever they and it's like, but like its own thing. And Fred's sort of thesis is that Templo S is Terry Davis paying the homage to the Commodore 64, which was like the computer that he grew up with and that meant a lot to him, but filtered through this distorted lens of his mental illness. And how, like, when he had days when he was more lucid, he would be more, basically when he's more lucid, he was like, oh yeah, this is like my fun art thing. But then, like, on days when he was worse, it was like, it became like it became like about like the third temple and stuff. And I'm really excited to get to help share him and platform this, because I think this is fast. I am getting to be helping primary source internet history come to light. This is so cool to me. And also just like I'm helping my friend like be creative and find his voice, because like my life is so cool right now, and I'm really happy that I get to resume producing stuff for you all. So basically, this is the announcement. Just the show's going to be coming back soon. Keep an eye on that. Don't unsubscribe. And also, basically, I wanted to do a mini-sode, and as always, it wound up becoming huge and like a huge unwieldy thing. So that's going to be separate. I'm keeping it separate. So people who just want like the real people who are here for Winslow, are you can just skip this, but people who want like the real sort of like inside baseball, unhinged Jay Branstetter stuff, I'm going to be doing a sort of like oral history of the 2023 Something Awful in Review. And I have sort of like my basically, not to be dramatic, but 2023 is the year that I like kind of lost faith that Something Awful will ever like amount to anything again. Like I've kind of given up on it in a way that is like funny to say, considering I arguably talk about it more than ever because of the show, but this is all old stuff. Again, this is all going to be its own thing because I have so much to say, and it's talking about like community management. Also, it's giving you like, if you don't read Something Awful, like the stuff you might be interested to see like what it's like now compared to the golden age, like what is going on in there, at least my perspective on it and such. So anyways, there's going to be that, and then after that there was going to be one where it's just going to be me kind of talking about like my life situation. Just I thought, again, some of you like listening to me talk just about stuff, so for you all, consider this like a nice little Christmas present. For everyone else, don't feel bothered, don't feel like you have to listen to it. None of this is essential listening. When the show resumes, the 2 episodes that we recorded, I'll let you know, are the first one that we did was we did one on Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, and how, believe it or not, the fact that Scott Cawthon had to like retire from game dev is a direct result of a Something Awful poster. And them basically, so that's going to be a really cool episode. And also I enjoy it because like as a furry, I have a really weird relationship with Five Nights at Freddy, and Winslow is a horror nerd, like fucking hates it because it's so it's horror for children, so it's like very unsophisticated and like it's for kids, and that's so not his thing. So it's a fun episode. And then the other one that we did is one about it's about someone who bought a very large herding dog that just because they thought it would be cool to have like a rare dog, and how the more you zoom out, the worse this decision is, the consequences of it being like and also because Winslow comes from a family of dog breeders, there's a lot of like fun talking about like his sort of like experiences like with the dog breeding world and all the stuff about it. It's very interesting. Now I guess since the episode's already recorded, I will mention one thing that's neat about Fred is his dog Hitomi has her own Wikipedia page, and it has like a whole thing about like her lineage and stuff, because she was like a she was like a breeder dog from the Philippines. So like they have like all these really interesting names for her lineage and everything. It's very fun. So yeah, Hitomi is wonderful. She's a little Chihuahua Pomeranian mix. If you've ever seen a video or a picture of Fred from the past couple years, he has her with him usually. And a very funny thing I've realized now that I've gotten to know her is if you watch the HBO documentary series Q Into the Storm, in the intro there's a part where they have like a little CGI what's supposed to be Hitomi, but now that I've spent time with her, I've realized that's not Hitomi. That's a generic asset of a Pomeranian, because Hitomi is a Chihuahua Pomeranian and she looks different slightly. But like if you aren't familiar with her, then that half a second, it was just like a very interesting peek into like the shortcuts a professional video animator company will make for a product like that. It's cool. I like that. And she's an amazing dog. Like, it is so cool to have like a legit service dog that is like super well behaved and quiet, and like everywhere we go everyone just loves her because she's adorable and she's super well behaved. It rules. Yeah, my life is super cool. Like, like, who else? Like, some people get to work in offices where they bring dogs there every now and then. I get to work with this adorable, like, I've never played Ghost Trick, but she literally just, every picture I've ever seen of the Pomeranian from that, she just looks like that dog. It is not fair that I get to spend every day with this adorable little burnt marshmallow of a canine as just, like, a cute little, like, friend while I'm, like, doing my housework and stuff. Anyways, that will be in its own episode. So thank you for listening. I'm sorry this isn't a proper episode with Winslow. Like, there have been months of time where I didn't have internet, like, access. Like, I was just going on mobile and it wasn't reliable enough for recording. So, again, it'll be its own episode. Anyway, happy holidays to everyone. Things are, I feel really bad because I know that the world sucks and it's tough out there. Like, gotta admit, I mean, like last time I talked to y'all, there wasn't a genocide happening. Like, at least this particular one. It fucking sucks. And have it like, I'm someone where, like, I'm very happy and fulfilled and, like, I'm doing well, and it kind of, I don't want to rub it in people's faces because I know how tough that is for people, but the reason why I do it isn't just to brag or show off. The reason why I do it is because it's, like, my attitude is, like, if I can get this, like, I just want people to see that there are, better things are possible. And that, like, the internet doesn't have to just be the worst thing ever. Like, the fact that my entire life got upended by the internet, first for bad and then for good, is just beautiful to me. I'm so happy here. It's so neat. It's very funny. Like, to give you, they'll all be in its own episode. So thank you for listening. Thank you for, being there in general. And also, I do want to say, if I want to do a shout out, Gary and Cole, our previous guests, the newest premium episode of their main podcast, Watch Out for Fireballs, about Slayer's X, Vengeance of the Slayer, which is made by former goon, Jay, I guess not former, he hasn't really posted it, but Jay Tholen, another Jay. He created Choose Your Own Adventure series called Dropsy that was really good, and then that became an adventure game. If you've ever seen, like, I feel like it was a lot of bundles and stuff. It was like a point and click game with, like, a clown, and the gimmick was that there was no dialogue in it. It was all through, like, actions and, like, pictograms. But also, like, his big thing is that he leads a team. It wasn't just him. He doesn't like when people say it, but he was like, his team made Hypnospace Outlaw, which I love, and is like a huge love letter to the early internet, and is like a deeply significant work of art to me. And so the fact that this all kind of came together into one beautiful package, that, a few days before Christmas, when I'm genuinely kind of feeling like, just feeling like I'm not really living up to, like I'm letting people down. I have these people that I look up to and admire, and who kind of inspired me to become a podcaster in a way. Just unprompted, going on like a 2-minute long thing gushing about, like, my show and, how much they enjoyed being on it and how cool it is. So, I guess that's my shout out. Like, if you need something to listen to and you haven't had, you've missed our show, check out Watch Out for Fireballs. Good show. And again, shout out to Gary and Cole. You're just really cool guys. And also, just a shout out to Winslow. When we started this hiatus, he was just starting his art thing, and he just finished it. He did, like, hundreds of pieces of artwork anymore, so go ahead and check that out to see that. And also, like, if you weren't into the card stuff, well, that's not really happening anymore. So now, give him attention again, because he's been working hard, and I'm very happy for him. I think that, like, taking a break from the world of comedy has been very good for him. But at the same time, like, I want him to know that, like, he's a really funny dude. I'm glad he's appreciated. Also, I just want to shout out to some future collaborators of mine, for the holidays. Daisy, I'm really looking forward to working with her on the Louis After Louis reboot. Karina, I'm really looking forward to State of Florida with her, because, having perspective on Florida, I'm really looking forward to talking. And also, like, I've been kind of unplugged from local Florida stuff, so I'm looking forward to kind of getting the feedback from her about that, and also, like, learning about her life and back at home. And, just in general, that's it. I don't really have anything else to say. I didn't write a script for this. This was all kind of just off the heart. So thank you, and happy holidays. And again, I'm very sorry that this quality isn't better. Maybe I'll go back and edit this, but no promises. Anyways, 2024 is going to be a really, really great year for me. I don't think it's, 2023 was a bad year for something awful, but it's been a pretty great year for me, all things considered. Like, again, it's going to be its own episode. Thank you. Thank you again for listening. Goodbye.